Dr. Goro Amamiya spent his days in a quiet hospital, far removed from the glitz of the city. His only solace was a young patient named Serena, who dreamed of becoming an idol like her idol, AI Hoshino. Serena succumbed to her terminal illness, leaving Goro with a heavy heart and a newfound obsession with AI's career. Years later, the very idol he worshipped appeared at his clinic, hiding a scandalous secret beneath her dazzling facade. AI was 16 and pregnant with twins, seeking a place to give birth away from the prying eyes of the paparazzi. Goro vowed to protect her and ensure the safe delivery of the children who would be born into a world of lies. On the night of the delivery, a mysterious stalker confronted Goro on the edge of a cliff. The stranger pushed Goro into the abyss, silencing the doctor before he could witness the miracle he had promised to protect. In a twist of fate, Goro's soul was reborn as Aquamarine, one of Ai's newborn twin sons. Beside him was his sister Ruby, who carried the soul of the young patient Serena from his previous life. The twins grew up in secret, witnessing the peak of their mother's fame from the safety of their home. Aqua and Ruby often argued like adults, their cognitive abilities far exceeding their toddler bodies. AI thrived as an idol, her lies becoming a beautiful armor that captivated millions across the nation. She managed to balance her career and her role as a mother, though the latter remained a hidden reality. As B-Komachi's popularity soared, AI dreamed of performing at the prestigious Tokyo Dome. However, the dark side of fandom began to creep into her life once again. A mysterious fan found his way to their new apartment, clutching a bouquet of white roses. AI opened the door with a smile, expecting a friendly visit or perhaps a delivery. The visitor lunged forward, a blade flashing in the light as it struck the beloved idol. Blood splattered against the white walls, staining the innocence of their secret sanctuary. AI collapsed to the floor, her life force draining away while her children watched from the shadows. In her final moments, she whispered the words she had struggled to say, "I love you." The light in her star-shaped pupils faded, leaving behind a void that could never be filled. Aqua held his mother's lifeless body, a cold fury igniting within his soul. He realized the stalker couldn't have found them alone, someone had leaked their private address. The culprit had to be their father, the man who had stayed hidden while AI suffered. Aqua's purpose shifted from protection to a single-minded pursuit of vengeance. Ruby, meanwhile, was left to mourn the loss of the mother she had only just begun to know. She clung to the dream AI left behind, vowing to one day shine as brightly as her mother did. The twins were taken in by Miyako Saito, the wife of Ai's manager, who raised them as her own. Years passed, and the weight of the past only grew heavier for Aqua. He entered the entertainment industry not for fame, but to find the connections that would lead him to his target. He watched every actor, director, and producer, looking for any clue of his father's identity. Every role he took was a step closer to the heart of the industry's darkness. Ruby's passion for performing remained undimmed, despite the tragedies of her childhood. She gathered her friends to reform B-Komachi, hoping to carry on AI's legacy. But Aqua knew that the same stage that gave them life could also take it away. He began to notice subtle patterns in the behavior of the veterans who knew AI. A sense of dread washed over him as he realized how deep the deception went. He discovered a lead pointing to a specific group of people who were present at the hospital years ago. One name stood out amongst the rest, a name that sent chills down his spine. Memories of his past life as Goro flashed before his eyes, blurring with his current reality. He knew that to find the truth, he would have to become a monster himself. The hunt was no longer a dream, it was a cold, calculated mission. As he stepped onto the set of his next project, he saw a familiar figure waiting in the distance, watching his every move. Aqua squinted through the bright studio lights at the mysterious silhouette standing near the equipment racks. The figure moved back into the darkness before he could identify the face. Shaking off the distraction, he focused back on the script clutched in his trembling hand. Years had passed since AI's death, and the twins had grown into the very world that consumed her. Ruby stood before a mirror in her bedroom, practicing her idol poses with a fierce sparkle in her eyes. She was determined to revive B-Komachi and stand on the same stage where her mother once shone. Meanwhile, Aqua used his acting career as a calculated means to infiltrate the inner circles of the industry. His heart remained a fortress of ice, driven only by the singular goal of finding the man responsible for the murder. Ruby finally managed to recruit Kana Arima, the former child prodigy, to join her fledgling idol group. Kana looked at the invitation with a mix of skepticism and a hidden, desperate longing for the spotlight. The group was completed when the viral sensation Memcho decided to bring her massive following to the team. Training began immediately, with the three girls sweating through grueling dance rehearsals in a cramped studio. Aqua watched from the sidelines, his mind perpetually 3 steps ahead of everyone else. An unexpected opportunity arose when Aqua was cast in the high-profile stage adaptation of the manga Tokyo Blade. He found himself acting alongside Akane Kurokawa, a genius actress known for her immersive method acting. Kana Arima, also cast in the play, felt a sharp pang of rivalry seeing Akane's incredible talent. The rehearsal atmosphere grew thick with the clashing egos of young stars vying for recognition. Aqua realized that the play's producer had deep ties to the director AI once worked with. During one rehearsal, Aqua struggled to tap into the raw emotions required for his climactic scene. The director yelled for more passion, but Aqua's trauma made it difficult to lose control. Akane approached him during a break, offering a strange kind of empathy through her character's persona. For a brief moment, Aqua saw his mother's shadow in Akane's perfect mimicry. He pushed her away, unable to handle the psychological weight of the resemblance. Ruby's group, B-Komachi, finally secured their first major live performance at a local festival. The girls stood behind the curtain, listening to the roar of a crowd that wasn't there for them. Ruby stepped out first, her charisma suddenly filling the entire space like a burst of light. Aqua watched the livestream from his dressing room, a rare, genuine smile touching his lips. Opening night for Tokyo Blade arrived, and the theater was packed with critics and fans alike. The play began with a spectacular sword fight between Aqua's character and his rival. Every move was choreographed to perfection, but the emotions beneath the surface were real. As the climax approached, Aqua had to deliver a monologue about the loss of a loved one. He channeled all his suppressed grief for AI, the words pouring out with a haunting authenticity. The audience sat in absolute silence, completely captivated by the sheer power of his performance. When the curtain fell, Aqua collapsed backstage, his mind drained of all strength. The play was a massive success, catapulting the young actors into the national spotlight. Amidst the celebration, Aqua received an anonymous tip about a gathering of old industry veterans in Miyazaki. He realized this was the lead he had been waiting for to finally find the doctor's killer. Coincidentally, Ruby's group was booked for a music video shoot in the same coastal town. As they prepared for the trip, a dark storm began to brew over the horizon. Aqua felt a strange sense of déjà vu as they drove toward the town where his previous life ended. Just as they arrived at the old hospital ruins, a crow landed on the fence, its eyes fixed directly on Aqua as if it knew his secret. The black crow perched on the rusty hospital gate, tilted its head as the twins approached their past. Aqua felt a strange chill as he stepped onto the grounds where he had once lived as Goro Amamiya. Ruby skipped ahead, her white dress fluttering in the mountain breeze as the B-Komachi crew set up their cameras. The director signaled for the music to start, and the familiar melody of their new song filled the silent valley. While the girls performed, Aqua wandered away toward the deep ravine where his life had ended decades ago. Beneath a cluster of heavy stones, he spotted the glint of a familiar medical ID badge. As he cleared the debris, the skeletal remains of Goro Amamiya were finally revealed to the light of the moon. The sight of his own bones didn't bring fear, but a cold, renewed sense of purpose. Nearby, Ruby had followed him and collapsed to her knees as she realized what lay before them. She screamed at the sky, the realization that her beloved doctor was gone forever shattering her idol persona. Aqua pulled her into a silent embrace, his eyes scanning the surrounding woods for any sign of a watcher. A rustle in the bushes caught his attention, but only a small black crow flew out into the night. Returning to Tokyo, Aqua began cross-referencing the DNA from the crime scene with the names of famous actors. He focused on the La La Lai Theatrical Company, the place where AI had first found her spark. He realized that the man he sought was not just a fan, but a predator hiding in plain sight within the industry. Far away, in a luxury high-rise, a man with stars in both eyes watched Ruby's latest music video with a chilling smile. Hikaru Kamiki poured a glass of red wine, his reflection in the glass showing the twin black stars of a killer. Aqua finalizes his plan to trap the man, using a high-profile movie premiere as the ultimate bait. Ruby prepared for her biggest stage yet, unaware that the final confrontation was about to unfold in the shadows. The red carpet was rolled out, and the flashbulbs of the paparazzi created a blinding wall of white light. Aqua spotted him, a man walking through the crowd with an air of untouchable elegance. Every muscle in Aqua's body tensed as he approached the person who had stolen his mother's future.
"Good evening," Hikaru said, his voice as smooth as silk as he turned to face the boy.
Aqua didn't waste words, pulling out a small recording device that held the confession of an old accomplice. Hikaru laughed softly, showing no fear even as the evidence of his crimes was presented to his face. "I won't kill you," Aqua whispered. "I'm going to make sure the whole world sees the monster you are." Suddenly, the giant screens above the gala flickered and began playing the documentary Aqua had secretly produced. The truth about AI's death and the identity of her stalker spread across the internet in a matter of seconds. Hikaru's composure broke as the guests began to whisper and point their cameras toward him. Police officers entered the hall, their handcuffs gleaming under the crystal chandeliers. Aqua watched from the shadows as the man who ruined his family was led away in shame. On the main stage, Ruby finished her performance, and the crowd erupted into the loudest applause she had ever heard. She looked out into the audience and saw her brother standing in the front row, finally at peace. The cycle of reincarnation had led them through fire and blood, but they had survived together. They visited their mother's grave one last time, placing a fresh bouquet of star-shaped lilies on the stone. "We did it, Mom," Ruby whispered, a single tear of joy rolling down her cheek. Aqua stood tall, no longer a ghost of Goro or a tool of revenge, but simply a brother. The entertainment world would continue its dance, but the twins would now define their own path. As they walked away, 3 distinct stars seemed to twinkle in the morning sky, watching over them. Their story of revenge was over, and their story of living had finally begun.